What could a 400 million-year-old predator possibly teach us about modern business? Well, it turns out a lot more than you might think. Today, we're going to dive deep into the mindset of the shark, a creature whose survival instincts are basically a perfect blueprint for any business that wants to dominate its market.
So, let me ask you this. What's the one unbreakable rule that a great white shark and a truly great business both share? It sounds simple, but trust me, the implications are huge.
It all comes down to one thing: constant motion. For a shark, it's literally a biological necessity. If it stops swimming, it dies. And for a business, well, the reality is just as brutal. If it stops innovating, stops adapting, it dies. The rule is exactly the same: move or perish.
Okay, so with the stakes that high, let's really break this down. We're going to look at this as a blueprint for survival. And to do that, we'll start by defining our two key players, the apex predator and the modern business. All right, first up, the shark. Don't just think of it as some big fish. No, think of it as a masterclass in survival. This is an ancient, ruthlessly efficient predator, and its entire success story is built on a few key pillars: that constant motion we talked about, insane adaptability, and a laser-focused instinct for the hunt.
Now let's use that same lens to look at a business. What is it, really? It's an organization in a constant battle for survival, where success is totally dependent on relentless innovation and the ability to pivot fast. The parallels here, they're just impossible to ignore.
And that right there brings us to the heart of this whole thing, what we're calling the 6 Shark Principles. Seriously, think of these as your personal toolkit for hunting down opportunities and just completely outmaneuvering your rivals.
So, principle number 1, we've already touched on it, and it's the most fundamental of them all: constant motion. This is the engine, this is what powers everything else. And yeah, this lays it out perfectly. For the shark, swimming literally is breathing. For a business, innovation is its oxygen. The second a company stops pushing forward, stagnation sets in. And let's be real, in today's market, stagnation is basically a death sentence. So moving all the time is critical, but it's kind of useless if you can't change direction, right? That brings us to principle number 2, adaptability. Look, survival isn't just about being the strongest. It's all about how you respond when things change.
Sharks are total masters of this. They thrive in pretty much every ocean on the planet. And businesses, they need that exact same versatility. Just think about Blockbuster. They failed to adapt to streaming. Meanwhile, Netflix jumped on it and became a titan. That right there is adaptability in action. It's the difference between extinction and evolution.
Being adaptable is huge, especially when you remember you are not alone in the water. And that leads us straight into principle number 3, competition. The ocean and the marketplace, they're both incredibly crowded, super competitive places to be. And again, the parallel is just undeniable. A shark is out there fighting for its next meal, for its territory. A business is battling for customers and for market share. In both arenas, survival comes down to having a superior strategy. You simply cannot afford to ignore your rivals. That is a fatal error.
So how do you win when it's so competitive?
Well, you have to see things other people miss. That brings us to our 4th principle, awareness. It's pretty simple. You can't seize an opportunity if you don't even know it's there. Sharks can sense prey from miles away. For a business, what are those senses? They're things like market research and customer feedback. A truly aware company spots those market shifts and opportunities way before they become obvious to everyone else. Okay, so being aware is the first step. But knowing something is there doesn't mean anything if you don't do something about it. And that's where our 5th principle comes in: focus. This is where you turn insight into real action. Think about it. When a shark targets its prey, its pursuit is absolutely relentless. It doesn't get distracted. A business needs that exact same laser focus. So you have to ask yourself, are you truly committed to your core goals, or are you getting sidetracked by every new trend? Because that unwavering focus, that's what gets results. Period. All right, having that focus and drive is essential, but it's most effective when you combine it with our 6th and final principle, efficiency. This is all about building a lean, purposeful, operational machine.
A shark is just a perfect model of evolutionary efficiency. There's no wasted energy. Every single movement has a purpose. And businesses should be aiming for the same thing: streamlining operations, cutting out waste, and becoming as competitive as possible. It's about maximizing your impact with minimal effort.
So there you have it, the 6 principles of the shark mindset. And adopting this approach isn't just about survival, it's about actually thriving, no matter how choppy the waters of your market get.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Now, let's be super clear here. This isn't about being ruthless. It's about being resilient. A business that has the focus, the adaptability, and the constant motion of a shark isn't just going to survive in the market. It's going to master it.
So I'll leave you with one last thing to think about. In your own ocean, your market, your industry, even your career, ask yourself this: are you hunting or are you being hunted? Because the answer to that question, well, it changes absolutely everything.